10 years ago, humanity was infected with a virus called Gastria, which led to the spread of destruction and fires everywhere, and giant parasitic monsters appeared, which made people live in constant fear and run away. Among the people, there was a small, lonely boy named Rentaro, terrified and shocked by the monster in front of him. After 10 years in Tokyo, Rentaro grew up and joined the Tendo Security Agency as a civilian officer responsible for confronting Gastria. Rentaro arrives at a building on his motorcycle where he meets a police officer named Tadashima, who introduces himself and tells him that he came here because of a report he received to confront Gastria. The officer tells him that the infected person is on the 4th floor. They go up together in the elevator, and the police officer tells him that one of the residents of the 3rd floor reported blood leaking down from the ceiling, and according to their investigation, there is a high possibility that he is infected with Gastria. As long as Rentaro has arrived, they can go in and check. Rentaro confirms his words and tells him that the law prevents the police from entering the crime scene without a civilian officer with them to avoid casualties. On the way, Officer Tadashima asks him where his partner is, saying that a civilian officer is supposed to have a partner. Rentaro remembers that she fell off the motorcycle while he was driving and tells him not to worry about her. When they arrive at the infected apartment, they find some police officers standing at the door. They inform Inspector Tadashima that 2 of them entered the apartment through the window below, and since then there has been no sound. Tadashima gets angry at him and asks how they could go inside without a civilian officer. They reply that they did not want anyone to come and steal the police officer's efforts. Rentaro then pulls out his gun and tells them he will go in now. He approaches the door and suddenly breaks it with his foot and storms the place with his gun. Suddenly, he is shocked by the scene in front of him. The 2 police officers who entered before him are dead, and the blood is covering the wall. In the middle of the room, a strange man tells him, "You arrived late, civilian officer." Rentaro replies in surprise, "Are you working with us?" He tells him, "I used to work with you, but that was before the appearance of Gastria. But now I am not one of you because I am the one who killed the 2 guards behind me." Rentaro attacks him with continuous blows, but the strange man hits him easily and throws him away. Then the rest of the guards enter, and one of them says, "I will avenge my friends." But before he can shoot him, the strange man pulls out his gun and kills them easily. Rentaro then attacks him again with a very strong direct blow to his neck, but the strange man adjusts his neck and tells him, "I did not think you could hit me with such a strong blow. But anyway, we will meet again soon, Rentaro." Before leaving, Rentaro asks him, "Who are you?" He tells him, "I am the person who will destroy the world, and no one will be able to stop me." Then he escapes through the window. After that, the police officers transport their deceased colleagues, and the inspector and Rentaro examine the apartment after what happened. Rentaro looks at the window and finds it broken and stained with blood, so he concludes that the resident of this apartment must have escaped through the window. Inspector Tadashima is surprised and asks how he could jump from the 4th floor. But at that moment, he gets very angry because he realizes that this means the owner of this apartment is infected with Gastria. This way, the epidemic will spread, so Rentaro orders him to place barriers around the area. On the other side, Rentaro's partner, Enju, was running on foot to catch up with him and was very angry because he left her after she fell off the motorcycle. On her way, she sees a man soaked in his blood and looking like a zombie asking for her help. She realizes that he is definitely infected with Gastria and tells him, "Can't you see what happened to you? There is nothing I can do to help you." He looks at himself and is shocked, and tells her that he was standing at the window and was attacked by Gastria, so he jumped from the window and escaped. Enju tells him that unfortunately, he will turn into a monster now. Suddenly, he falls to the ground and transforms into a giant spider that attacks her and throws her away. At the same time, Rentaro arrives at the place and confirms that this is the Gastria-infected person who escaped from the window. Tadashima pulls out his gun and shoots the monster, but Rentaro pushes him and tells him that his regular gun bullets will not work and will only make the Gastria attack them more. Then Rentaro shoots the monster with his special gun, a deadly bullet that affects the monster. These bullets are called black bullets, made of veranium metal, which prevents it from regenerating its body. Rentaro continues shooting until his bullets run out, but the monster is still not dead. Then Enju emerges from the rubble and runs at full speed towards the monster and attacks it with her body. With one kick, she finishes off the monster. She looks at Rentaro and tells him, "How could you leave me and go without me?" The inspector then realizes that this girl is Rentaro's partner. Rentaro asks her if she is okay, and she tells him yes but upset about her torn clothes. After that, she reminds Rentaro that they have to go to the market to catch the bean sale discounts, so Rentaro runs at full speed to the store, and Enju runs after him. As for the inspector, he goes to examine the monster and learns that Enju is one of the cursed children who work as initiators with the task of killing Gastria, while Rentaro is one of the promoters responsible for keeping Gastria under control. These are humanity's hope against Gastria. At the Tendo Security Agency where Rentaro works, he enters the office of the agency director, Kazara, who scolds him harshly because he left before receiving the agency's fee from the police. She tells him that he wasted the agency's fee just to buy beans. He replies embarrassed, saying that he bought 2 bags and she could take one if she wanted. She screams at him and tells him that the agency did not make any money this month. She tells him that it is his fault because he is stupid, weak, and useless. He thinks more about discounts than about sending reports to her. She says she can't stand it anymore and that managing the company has become very difficult, and it is all because of him. Rentaro tells her that the problem is in the company's location and that it should have been in a better place. Then he gets an idea and suggests that she go down and distribute flyers in the street to attract clients. She gets angry and tells him to go down and shout loudly that the Tendo security agency is her. Then she asks him if the gastria he killed was infected. He tells her yes, but that he could not identify the source responsible for the infection. He thinks that maybe he met civilian officers from another agency and they dealt with him. She tells him that no agency has dealt with him yet. Then she gets up to leave and tells him that it has been a year since he joined the agency and met Enju. She tells him that when he was a child, he always said that he was sure his father and mother were alive and that he would look for them. She asks if he still thinks about them. He gets angry and tells her that he no longer cares because they are already dead. Then he leaves the place and walks away. On the way, he says to himself that he can no longer bear this matter every time it is mentioned. 10 years have passed, and he must try to forget. He arrives at an abandoned place, a scary laboratory full of strange tools, and calls out to teacher Muroto. The teacher scares him with a corpse and tells him that this is the body of the gastria he just killed, which they brought to the lab a while ago for examination. She asks him if he does not know how to kill them more gently, and tells him that he is wasting too many bullets. When he tells her that he just came from Kazara, she reminds him that Kazara is a martial arts champion and that she defended him when he was young from her older brother. He replies yes, and that he is not strong enough to protect her. After that, she tells him to get to the main point and asks if he did not come here to ask about the autopsy. He tells her that he came to inform her that the source of gastria is still not found and that there will definitely be many victims. The teacher explains to him that when a creature turns into gastria, its strength, shape, and speed change to suit the virus, and if it takes over 50% of the human body, it completely transforms from human to gastria. The result of this process is that gastria gains a new ability, and that is why the source he is looking for now must have gained a new ability like camouflage. Thus, all of Tokyo could go extinct tomorrow morning. He reassures her that he will do his utmost to protect the city. Rentaro returns home after they made a large feast of beans in all shapes and colors, and he sits with Enju to eat together. After they finish, Rentaro gets up to wash the dishes, and Enju tells him that the food tasted very good. After that, Rentaro tells her that it is time for her injection and gives her the injection in her arm. Then he goes into his room to sleep. The next day comes, and they have breakfast together, and the governor of Tokyo appears on television with her advisor. Rentaro tells Enju to finish her food so he can take her to school. On the way, he warns her to be very careful so that no one discovers her true identity. She arrives at school, and he leaves her with her classmates and walks away. On the way, he remembers the teacher's words about the cursed children like Enju, who are originally all girls born to mothers infected with gastria, and their eyes are red. Although the virus is present in their bodies, it is inactive, and they are humanity's hope for facing gastria. As for the cities, after 10 years of humanity being infected with gastria, humans discovered that gastria is weak against the veranium metal, so they surrounded all the cities with giant veranium barriers. Rentaro and Kazara go to another important meeting, and as soon as they enter, Kazara says it seems most of the civilian officers in the Tokyo area have been summoned, and as soon as they enter, a huge officer named Shogen stops them, mocks them and says, "Have kids become civilian officers?" And Rentaro tells him, "If you want to say something, introduce yourself first." But the huge officer pushes him down to the ground and tells him, "Where is your auxiliary tool?" So Rentaro gets angry at him after he mocked Enju, but before Shogen attacks him, someone orders him to stop what he is doing and tells him, "If you won't obey my orders, get out." And Kazara tells Rentaro this is Shogen from the Royal Guards and his rank is 1584. And he is considered first class among 700,000 civilian officers in the world, and she tells him, "By the way, your and Enju's rank is about 120,000, and still that's not bad." And he tells her, "So the elite officers in Tokyo are here." Their director enters and tells them anyone who refuses the mission can leave. And once you hear the mission, none of you will be able to refuse, and tells them the briefing will start now, and on the screen appears Sendi, the governor of Tokyo, and her advisor Tenedo, and at the same time he is Rentaro's adoptive father who took care of him after his father died, and at the same time Kazara's grandfather. And she tells them, "We have 2 missions. The first is to eliminate the gastria that caused the infection in Tokyo yesterday, and the second mission is to retrieve this box with the gastria. And that's everything." And Kazara asks her, "Can I know what is inside this box?" So she asks her, who are you? So she says, I'm Kazara from the security agency of civilian officers. So she says, I heard about you, but in general this is classified, I can't tell you what's inside the box. And Kazara tells her the source of the infection was spider type, and tells her anyone can kill it normally. What's the reason you ask help from elite civilian officers? Surely there is something dangerous in the box, to deserve this big reward, and Sensei tells her that's something you shouldn't know. Suddenly the strange man who met Rentaro before appears to them, and they are surprised and ask him, who are you? So he tells them, I'm Hirako, and this is the first time we meet. And Rentaro takes out his gun and points it at Hirako, and asks him, where did you come from? So he answers casually, I entered from the main door. Despite the guards who tried to approach me and kill me, and he introduces his daughter Koina, and tells him this is my daughter and my personal assistant, and Koina tells him he is pointing the gun at my face. Kill him, and Hirako says to her, no, not now, and tells them that he is announcing joining this race with them, and after that he will take the prize, the inheritance of the 7 stars, and Rentaro is surprised and tells him, what's that? So he tells him that's what's inside the box you will look for, and tells them, how about we bet if I find the box first I kill you all. And suddenly Shogen attacks him, but Hirako blocks his strike easily, and all the officers there pull out their guns and shoot many bullets at him, but Hirako makes a barrier blocking the bullets, and tells them that to make this barrier I replaced most of my body parts with other parts made of vibranium, and tells them I'm a former member of the defense forces in the mechanical unit. But everyone there says, impossible, we believe you. So he tells them, as you wish, and suddenly he reflects all the bullets they shot at him, and kills many of those there, and he takes out a box and gives it to Rentaro and tells him, this is a gift from me to you. Kazara asks Rentaro, where did you meet him? And suddenly someone enters and tells them the president was killed in his house and his head was cut off from his body, and Rentaro looks at the box Hirako gave him and finds it dripping blood, so he understands that this is the president's head. And Sensei tells them, please carry out the mission as fast as possible before Hirako. And if any mistake happens, the city could be destroyed and cause extinction in Tokyo City. And Rentaro and Enju walk together and they wear similar bracelets, and she tells him these bracelets are so if either of us lies to the other this bracelet will break. So he mocks her and says, well, I love Enju. It didn't break, see. So she tells him, because what you said is true. And they find a girl running in front of them and the police chasing her, and she stops in front of them begging them to help her. But the police catch her, and Rentaro tells him, please treat her well. And the girl tells the officer, you don't even know what I did to arrest me. And Enju tells Rentaro, why didn't you save her? So he tells her, lower your voice, they can't discover who you are. So she gets upset and tells him, but she asked for help. So he asks her, do you know her? So she tells him, yes, I know her from long ago, but I didn't talk to her before, but she knows me. And she cries and tells him, you are the hero of justice, how come there's nothing you can do? So he tells her, go home and I'll handle it. And he follows the police car, and he is surprised when he arrives and finds they took the girl to a strange place and are beating her and shooting her with the gun. And Rentaro approaches her thinking she's dead but finds her still alive. So he takes her to the hospital quickly to save her, and the doctor tells him it's a miracle she's alive. And Rentaro tells him, I will pay for her treatment, please treat her well. And the doctor tells him, you will pay, are you sure? So he tells him who else will pay, and leaves. And while walking he says to himself, life became very expensive and hard. And he meets Hirako while walking and they point their weapons at each other. But Hirako tells him, can you lower the weapon? So he says, no, I refuse. So he orders his daughter Koina to cut his arm, and she attacks him but he avoids all her strikes, and suddenly Enju comes and attacks her. Koina tells her, no one can defeat me in close combat. And she asks her father, can I kill her? So he tells her no, and he tells Rentaro, let's get to the point. How about you join me? And tells him, I don't know the exact reason but I admire you, and gives him a bag with a lot of money, and tells him this is a gift from me to you, and I heard that you make Enju seem like she is a normal girl and take her to school. Why do you do that? Although they are the next generation of humans and their ability is greater than human ability, but Rentaro gets angry and takes out his gun and shoots the money, and tells him, I should have killed you the first time I saw you. And he tells him, doesn't matter, whatever you do they will betray you in the end. And Enju tells him his assistant is strong. So he asks her, can you defeat her? So she tells him, I don't know. The next day Rentaro goes to the school and doesn't find Enju, and a teacher meets him and tells him rumors spread in the school that Enju is one of the cursed children. So Rentaro gets angry at him and tells him, and she didn't deny that. And the teacher tells him, you were hiding from us that she is a cursed child. So he tells him, and if I told you you wouldn't have let her enter the school? So he tells him, anyway, she almost got shocked, so we let her go home early today. And Rentaro returns home and searches for her a lot but doesn't find her anywhere in the house. And Sensei appears on the screen in the streets and says, cursed children have the right to get their right in everything, and I'm sure they will benefit us in the new era, and my mission is to use the law, and this is a chance to eliminate all fights and make it a society full of peace. And on the other side Rentaro travels to a place where cursed children exist to look for Enju, and he goes to a place and meets the old man who is responsible for them and tells him, "Are you the grandfather?" So he replies, "Grandfather is just a title, but my name is Matsuzaki and I take care of the children here, and that's so they live a quiet life one day, and to teach them also how to control their emotions, and not show them the red eye, and the current generation is very harsh on them." And Rentaro takes out the picture of Enju and asks him, "Do you know this girl?" So he tells him, "Unfortunately I haven't seen her before," and asks him, "Where will you go now?" So he tells him, "I'll search somewhere else. I'll go to the place she is from, and I'll search everywhere until I find her." So he tells him, "You are just an officer whose assistant ran away, you can get another one easily, and it's not strange that the assistant doesn't stay with you for life. And many officers consider those assistants just tools they use in battle, and you can request another one." So he gets angry and tells him, "My reason for searching for her has nothing to do with my job, and the first time I met her was a year ago and we spent a lot of good time together, you know nothing." And he leaves. Rentaro goes to Sensei to help him find Enju, but she offers him no help and mocks him, so he leaves and walks away. And while he is walking on the road he gets a phone call and someone tells him that Enju returned to school again. So Rentaro rushes to the school to meet Enju. And at the same time Enju is defending herself in front of her classmates and telling them that she is an ordinary human, not one of the cursed children. But none of her classmates believe her, and even the closest girl to her leaves her and walks away. And Enju cries but finds Rentaro standing behind her, and he tells her, "Let's change this school and that's it." So she tells him, "No, I don't want to give up that easily. I've made many friends here." So he tells her, "No, that's it, they are no longer your friends." A plane comes and takes them and they leave the school, and a call comes to Rentaro from Kazara telling him that they have identified the location of the gastria that caused the infection, but they will move to confirm first. So he tells her, "You should have called Dr. Hiura first." So she tells him that if someone arrives before them then they won't get the monetary reward, and she has run out of all her money. And Rentaro looks from the plane and sees beneath them a gastria flying using its web, and he remembers then the doctor's words that this is one of their supernatural abilities that makes them fly. But he suddenly looks and finds Enju open the plane door and jumps from it to attack the gastria, and Rentaro grabs a rope and jumps from the plane. And he finds Enju attacking the gastria with force and landing many strikes on it, and she manages to actually finish it off. And she cries and tells Rentaro, "I defeated it. That means I was able to protect everyone at the school." And Rentaro tells her, "Yes, it's true that all we have to do is fight and battle the gastria, and I know how worried you are about your unknown future, but don't worry, I'm with you, and even if the whole world rejects you, I'm beside you." And Rentaro goes to explore what is inside the box that came out of the gastria when Enju destroyed it, but he attacks him suddenly, and Rentaro tries to escape from it, but runs after him. So Rentaro stops to attack it, but it blocks all his strikes easily, and he pulls out his gun and shoots it, and he executes a powerful move on it, throwing it onto the rock and smashing it, and Rentaro looks to Enju and tells her, "Run away quickly," and he shoots with the gun. Enju tells him he ran chase her and kill her, so he tells her, "No, let's get rid of this officer first," and attacks him with so many stabs, and he shoots him again with his gun, and Rentaro falls into the sea. And Rentaro wakes up after they rescue him and finds Kazara sitting in front of him. So he asks her, "How long have I been sleeping?" So she tells him, "A day and 3 hours. And they said your heart started beating again at the end of the surgery, you didn't surrender to death." And she tells him, "The government gave us some information. Kajitan who stole the box, the contents in it were a catalyst for summoning gastria of level 5. So he is shocked and tells her, "So this was one of the 11 that would have destroyed the world." So she tells him that the gastria grow to level 1 and 2 and 3, and then continue growing to level 4, and level 5 is outside the growth stage. It has existed in the gastria since they appeared 10 years ago, and it is much larger than the other gastria, and Varanium bullets don't affect it, and large areas were destroyed by level 5 gastria. And Hiriko escaped and began summoning gastria of the 5th type. So Rentaro gets angry and tells her, "I must fight to win. I'm ready, it's fine." But Kazara tells him it's better that you rest now, so he tells her, "I'm sorry." So she replies, "I think there is another person you should apologize to, not me," and she lifts the cover on him and he finds Enju sleeping beside him. So he asks her, "Since when is she here?" So she tells him, "Since you came here." So he looks at Enju and tells her, "I'm truly useless because I exposed you to this danger. I'm sorry." And Sensei enters and gives him a bag full of weapons and gives him a box of bullets and tells him, "This is a gift from me, but if you don't use it that would be better." And he tells her, "While I was unconscious I dreamed of you when you were operating on me 10 years ago." So she tells him, "It doesn't matter, no matter how much I apologize, what I did to you then can't be undone." And before he leaves he tells her, "I wasn't angry with you that day." And he goes out and finds Kazara waiting for him, and she tells him, "I order you as your president to destroy Hiriko and Koina, and prevent them from summoning gastria of level 5. I want you to give your utmost effort and I will also try to do that." So he replies, "I will stop them no matter what," and he goes out and boards the plane with Enju and the rest of the officers. And they arrive at a strange place and find the gastria attacking them, so they run and try to escape from it, and they jump from a very high mountain and manage to slip away from it, and they walk and find a lit place so they enter to see who is in the place. And they find a girl alone in the place, and before Enju attacks her, Rentaro stops her, and the girl tells him, "Do you remember me?" So Enju gets upset with him and tells him, "I don't remember who this girl is, explain to me what is happening." So he tells her this is Shogun's partner, and then Enju gets upset and says to herself, "I can't accept this girl's presence." So she tells him why is she so angry, and she tells him now you and Shogen are both guards and this is not normal, and that's because Shogen has a large muscle mass, but despite that he lacks always taking precautions. So he tells her, "May I see your weapon?" So she tells him, "And if I refuse?" So he tells her, "It's fine, no problem, but I saved you." And he holds her weapon and tells her, "Why did you use explosives in the forest?" So she tells him it was a trap. "And while we were walking we saw a light in the forest, we thought they were civilian officers, and when we approached it turned out to be Gastria, so I didn't hesitate and pulled out a bomb and used it, and after that the Gastria attacked us in the forest and when I was separated from Shogen." And she tells him, "But don't worry, I won't turn into Gastria." So he tells her, "You must go to a doctor when we return." And she asks him, "Are you worried about me?" So he tells her, "So you don't turn into Gastria." And she tells him, "I envy Enju." So he tells her why. So she tells him she hasn't killed anyone before, right? So he asks her, "And have you killed anyone?" So she tells him the truth, "I killed one while we were on the way, and Shogen is the one who ordered me to do that, and said I won't let anyone take the reward for killing Hira." So Rentaro gets angry at her and tells her there is nothing worse than killing someone who did no sin. So she tells him, "Are you saying that because you killed someone before?" So Rentaro gets bothered and gets up to leave, but she stops him before he leaves and tells him, "You are right, your words are true." And she gets a call from Shogen who tells her, "I found the masked man," and Rentaro tells her, "Will you really go to him?" So she tells him, "In any case he is my partner." Rentaro and Enju arrive at the place where he is, and they see Shogen coming out and suddenly falling in front of them with a sword in his back. At the same time Koina says to her father, "I'm surprised Rentaro is still alive." So he tells her, "Don't worry, the end is near." Senti is shocked that all the officers are dead, and Kazara enters on her while meeting with the leaders, and tells them that she is the one who summoned her. She asks her, "What is the success rate of your officers?" So she tells them surely they will win, there's no doubt. So one of the leaders is surprised and asks her, "Are you sure?" And she tells him, 10 years ago the Gastria attacked my house and killed my father and I was about to die, but Rentaro saved me and he protected me. And the Gastria destroyed a big part of his body and he was about to die." At the same time Rentaro is facing Hirako, and he tells him, "I don't think I will lose the second time. I will finish you." And Hirako is surprised when Rentaro attacks him and finds parts of his body made of vibranium. Rentaro tells him, "Let me introduce myself, I was a former member of the self-defense army," and Koina gets angry and attacks Rentaro. At the same time Hirako pulls out guns and shoots at Enju and Rentaro, and tells him, "Do you imagine what people will do if they know your assistant is one of the cursed children? Will they spare you? The world we hope for is not the one they want." And he tells Rentaro, "Join me." So he replies, "Are you kidding? I will never do that." At the same time Enju attacks Hirako, but Hirako blocks her strike and pulls a gun to kill her. So Rentaro runs to catch her and Hirako lands a strong hit and he bleeds a lot. But he remembers the injection sensei gave him and said try to avoid using it because there is a 20% chance you turn into Gastria, but Rentaro uses it and manages to overcome turning into Gastria and comes back to life again, and he attacks Koina and Hirako and this time he can finish Hirako. Kazara talks to Rentaro and tells him, "I have bad news. Gastria of level 5 appeared," and he asks her what's the solution. So Senti tells him, "We got permission to do anything normally, and the solution is at the high ladder beside you. You must reach the end of this ladder because there is an electromagnetic device and the vibranium device that if used will kill the Gastria forever." And Rentaro manages to activate the device, and Kazara tells them the device is ready now, and in front of them on the screen appears the Gastria of the 5th stage, and Rentaro tells Enju this is the Gastria that was going to destroy the world before, and Kazara tells Rentaro there is a problem in the device. So he asks her what does that mean, and she tells him that means we can't fire the vibranium missiles from the launch. So he moves quickly to check the device but finds that the uranium shells are not there, and Kazara tells him the device is broken and not responding to orders, and Rentaro starts removing the prosthetic parts in his body because they are made of vibranium. Rentaro tells Kazara, "I will use my arm instead of the shells," and Kazara informs him that the control with her is broken and he must do this by himself, so he tells her, "Impossible, surely I can't do that," and Rentaro holds the device and tries to hit the target but he can't. And Enju tells him, "I'm with you and I will help you," so he tells her if we make a mistake everything will end, and he tells her the missile could deviate toward the city and it would be a huge disaster. So she tells him, "But if you execute it then surely you will hit the Gastria," and she tells him, "You are the only one who can save the world. No one can do it but you," and she holds his hands to try to help him, and Rentaro tells her, "I don't want to lose you no matter what." And Rentaro manages to aim the missile and destroy the Gastria and saves the city, and he goes out of the device and finds Shogun's assistant sitting on the ground. So he goes and asks her, why didn't you run away? Didn't you say you would run if things got bad? But she ignores his questions and answers, is Shogun okay? So he tells her he is fine, and her body starts to turn into gastria. So she looks at him and tells him, I want to die as a human. You were the only one who acknowledged my existence, and that's why I protected you. And Rentaro kills her before she turns into gastria. And Rentaro then meets the governor's assistant Senti, and Rentaro tells him, I found out the information leaked to Hirako was from the Minister of Defense. So he replies he already hanged himself in the cell and died. So Rentaro is surprised and asks him, was he working with you? And Rentaro tells him the new gastria law that would raise the social status of the cursed children. And you exploited the situation and made Koina known as Hirako's daughter and caused many problems, and you tried to summon gastria of level 5 which was going to destroy the city, all this just to stop the new law. So he replies, how could I forget? 10 years ago these gastria killed my wife and many others. And they took your arm and legs. And in the end you want me to give these children a law that gives them rights to be treated like humans. So Rentaro replies, but they really are humans and I believe Enju is one of us. And he tells him, you saved my life when I was about to die, but I will never forget what happened 10 years ago, and he leaves. The next day Rentaro is walking with Kazara, and she asks him, did you find a new school for Enju? What do you think of sending her to a school outside the city? So he tells her, you mean a school without a roof and surrounded by abandoned buildings. So she tells him the important thing is that you find a place where Enju feels comfortable, right? So he tells her, yes, I will think about this matter. So she tells him, surely you will need money, right? We have a bodyguard job. So he asks her, bodyguard for whom? So she tells him, Senti chose you herself to be her personal bodyguard. And Rentaro goes to meet Senti and she tells him that after 2 days President Satake, who represents the Osaka area, will arrive, and he will come to visit the Tokyo area in an informal meeting. So he asks her, why is he coming? So she replies, not sure. And she tells him, I think the main reason for choosing a time like this is that Kikunajo is not present. So he tells her, yes indeed, he is now somewhere else. And she tells him, I want you to be beside me during the travel and be with me in the meetings to guard me. So he tells her, but you have guards. So she tells him, yes, let me introduce them to you. And the head of the guards, Takuto, comes and introduces himself and shakes hands with Rentaro, and tells him, we will rely on you if anything happens. But Rentaro ignores him and tells him, I came here to get some answers, nothing more, but I still didn't accept the job. Rentaro goes out walking but is surprised by weapons aimed at him from Senti's guards, and Takuto tells him, what are you planning? You will refuse the job anyway. No one will protect Senti but me. And Rentaro tells him, I won't take orders from you. And Takuto orders his guards to break his arm, but they can't do anything to Rentaro, and Takuto quickly leaves before the police and tells Rentaro, I will kill you one day. And an officer comes and tells Rentaro, I heard the sound of fighting here. But Rentaro ignores his words and tells him, inform Senti that I accepted the job with her. And Rentaro goes out and finds a small girl surrounded by people attacking her, so he goes to save her from them. And he asks the girl, what's your name and where did you come from? And what are you doing now outside the house? So she replies, I don't know. So he tells her, you don't know your name. So she tells him, my name is Tina. So he replies to her, and I'm Rentaro. And he asks her, where is your guard? So she tells him, I have no guards. And she tells him, I only remember that I woke up dressed and went out. So he tells her, fine, go to the police station. So she tells him, I can't go there. So he gives her his number and tells her, you can call me if anything happens, but now go to the police station. And she takes the number and tries to call it to make sure he gave her the right number, not wrong, and then she walks away. A call comes to Tina and she answers saying, I managed to sneak inside the Tokyo area and I'm on my way to get the weapon. So he tells her to be sure, what is your mission? So she replies, assassinate the governor of Tokyo, Senti. And she goes home, changes her clothes and goes down to pick up her weapon. But while she is returning, a police officer stops her and tells her, you can't be outside this late. Where is your house? And Tina kills the police officer, and Rentaro and Enju go to the crime scene and then return home. And he prepares food and tells Enju that it will be ready soon. But suddenly the door knocks and a girl named Shiba enters and falls to the ground and tells him, help me. And Enju asks him, who is this? So he tells her, this is the president of the student council in high school, the daughter of a famous weapons company president. And at the same time Kazara enters and falls to the ground and tells him, I'm very hungry, and they sit and eat together. And Rentaro tells Shiba, I think you have a cold. So she replies, but the cold medicine and the energy drink made me fine but hungry after. And Kazara tells her, better you just leave. And asks Rentaro, did you deliver the papers? So he tells her yes. And Enju tells him, we have new work. So he tells her, yes, I will be a bodyguard and I'm counting on you. And Shiba tells Enju, how do you feel wearing these shoes? They are designed for fighting, from my company's design. And she tells her also, the Varanium bullets that Rentaro uses are from my company. And Enju tells her, but Rentaro has no money to buy all that. So she replies, all of that is free. and Rentaro tells her when we use the weapons we make advertisement for the manufacturing company, and Shiba tells Rentaro why not resign from Kazara's company and work with me. And Kazara tells him the food tastes very good but don't you feel something is missing, like killing Shiba, and they start to attack each other. The next day Rentaro goes to the new job, and Senti asks him have you met Saitake before, so he tells her yes I met him many times, so she asks him what do you think of him, so he tells her not good. All the area presidents here are dangerous people, and among them President Saitake. He is the most dangerous, and she tells him thanks for the warning, and I want you to stay beside me all the time. And President Saitake meets them and tells her is this guy with you the one working in Tendo company, and Rentaro tells him you're still alive, so he replies watch your words you're just a civilian officer, and he tells him I heard you destroyed the railgun. So he tells him yes what's the problem, so he replies that device can hit the surface of the moon, and you simply used it to destroy the Gastria, so he tells him and you didn't want to destroy the Gastria, and Senti tells him you were planning to threaten other countries with violence, so he says after we eliminate the Gastria, the first country that recovers will be the ruling country of the new world. And that's what I want to do and anyone who stands in my way I will eliminate. And Rentaro tells him what is this talk, so he tells him simple I will crush anyone who has power against my plan, and I want to rule Japan. And they walk after that and Rentaro tells Senti don't be upset. Even Kikunajo has trouble dealing with him, and it's good you didn't agree with what he said, so she tells him and you also didn't stay silent at what he said, and she tells him no one I know could have said that to him. So he tells her and that's why you chose me, so she tells him I heard that Saitake takes money and weapons from other countries. But what's their benefit from this? So he tells her Japan produces a lot of uranium. So she replies I think he does this in exchange for giving them uranium, and that's to seize Japan. And she tells him now there aren't many good civilian officers and I want you to work with me always. And she tells him I plan to reclaim the land and cleanse it from the Gastria, and connect all parts of Japan together, and then people will remember what we did. And she tells him even if I'm threatened with assassination I won't back down from this, and I will try to make peace exist everywhere. And she tells him I don't want to be the person who can't do anything, so he tells her you're not smart but I don't hate you. And Enja gets up and tells Rentaro I have a bad feeling, and suddenly someone fires many shots at their car, but Rentaro takes Senti and they jump out quickly, and Tina informs her boss that she failed to kill her and that she was with a guard who has high skills. So he asks her did you see any civilian officer? So she replies yes but he was far so I couldn't recognize him. The next day Rentaro meets Tina and brings her food, and he tells her I don't mind you calling me so I can show you the area here. And Tina puts many pills on the food, and tells him I can't stay awake without these pills, so he tells her fine no problem, and Rentaro sees her dropping the food on the ground and not able to eat, so he takes the food from her and feeds her himself, and she thanks him after and tells him it was a very nice day. So he tells her it's okay I had a hard day yesterday and I needed to rest today. And Tina tells him I like you, this is the first time someone treats me well, and no one treated me like this since my father died. And a call comes to Tina so she gets up and tells him I have to go now. And before she leaves she asks him will we meet again, so he replies yes just call me. And Tina's boss tells her I got information about the next gathering time and tells her I found out who the civilian officer was who stopped you from killing Senti. But now you have a new mission, and your mission is to kill the head of Tendo agency, Kazara. Rentaro goes to Shiba and Kazara is waiting outside, and she tells him once I throw the tear gas grenade we will shoot at her, so he replies you will wait outside you won't come in with me, so she tells him no I won't let you go in alone. But he ignores her words and leaves her and goes in alone. And Kazara gets angry and says open the door or I will break it. And she tells Rentaro come let's go to the other room. And shows him that the bullets used in the assassination attempt were from a heavy machine gun caliber 50mm. And tells him the bullets were clean with no evidence they were used in any crimes before. And by looking at the coordinates I'm sure they were fired from this building. But it's impossible to hit a target from such a distance. And she tells him you better be careful, because clearly it's a professional sniper, and by comparison Senti's guards are not that strong, and in this case it wouldn't be surprising if Senti gets killed in the coming days. And he asks her did you collect any information about President Saitake, and I think he is the one who hired the killer. So she mocks his words, so Rentaro gets angry at her and tells her weren't you the one who asked to help me? And Kazara breaks the door and enters and asks them what are you doing? And before Shiba leaves she tells Rentaro don't forget my offer that you leave Kazara's company and come work with me. Rentaro goes to Sensei and she tells him a weak person like you doesn't deserve to be with Kazara, and I'm surprised she doesn't have a boyfriend at all, and you don't have the courage to confess to her, and that's one of your flaws. So he ignores her words, and tells her what do you want from Enja now? So she replies I found out you defeated Hirako and your rank reached 1000 and that makes you among the upper rank members. And with this occasion I want to talk to you about the 3 geniuses. So she asks him how do you describe me? So he replies the person who was the former leader of the New Humanity Creation Plan. so she tells him I can give you more info about your answer. The New Humanity Creation Plan was the name of the Robot Soldier Project, which was a joint project between 4 countries including Japan, and 4 scientists from 4 different countries gathered, and I was one of them. But the project didn't continue because we realized the combat abilities of the cursed children, and she tells him if you insist to continue your work you will be in a very high rank, and you must prepare for that. And she tells him there's no reason to be pessimistic. You really defeated one of the robot soldiers, which was made by one of the 4 scientists. So he tells her so Hirako was one of them, and he gets up to leave and tells Enju come on let's go home. So she replies we came all this distance just to go back home, and Sensei tells Rentaro I'm done talking with you, but I want Enju to stay with me to ask her some questions. And Tina's boss tells her that Kazara is Tendo's granddaughter and she is a martial arts champion but not compared to your strength, and asks her then who stopped you, but the phone falls from her and she doesn't hear. Tina goes to the Tendo agency office and as soon as she enters she fires many shots at Kazara, and Kazara attacks her with her sword and breaks her weapon, and Tina attacks her again with her power, and Kazara asks her who are you, so she tells her not important you will die now, and Kazara tells her you're afraid to kill me right? So Tina throws the weapon and attacks her to choke her with her hands. And Kazara calls out for Rentaro to help her, and he comes to attack Tina but is shocked when he finds it is her, and he attacks her, grabs her weapon and tells Kazara destroy the ceiling, and Rentaro and Tina fall to the floor below. But Tina escapes, and Kazara asks him do you know her, so he replies yes. And after that they go to the hospital to treat Kazara, and she tells him I didn't want you to see me like this. And he asks her will you stay here until the kidney operation, so she replies I haven't found a donor yet, and besides I decided I will spend my life trying to get rid of the Tendo name and I will never forget revenge. And Kazara tells him there is no doubt the attack on the office today and the assassination attempt on Senti are connected, and we must take responsibility as long as we are the reason the suspect escaped. And Enju replies if I were with you I would have caught her. And Rentaro asks her what did the doctor tell you, so she replies not sure but she talked about my speed. And Kazara tells him as long as this girl came to kill me because I'm blocking her then surely she will come to attack me again, and I will leave the Tokyo area in your protection, and I order you as your president to eliminate the sniper targeting Senti. So he tells her I will do that. I will stop her. And while on the way Enju asks him do you think we will succeed, so he tells her not sure but I hope this will be enough for diversion. And Rentaro tells Senti surely Saitake is behind all this, so she replies you are exaggerating. So he tells her this is the person you were supposed to meet in the meeting, and they tried to kill you after the meeting, and this man is trying to manipulate you to make your plan fail. So she replies I can't cancel this meeting without any reason. So he gets angry and tells her then they will kill you. So she tells him that's what it means to be the area president, and Rentaro tells her I will protect you. I didn't accept to work with you to let them kill you. And they arrive at the meeting place and the head of the guards comes, and angrily tells Rentaro how could Senti ride this junk car, so he says it's fine we changed the car because the other one was very dangerous. So he replies how can you make a decision without my approval, and Rentaro notices there is an attack on Senti and runs to save her and takes the bullet instead of her. And they get in the car quickly to leave, and Rentaro asks Enju to watch the sniper because she is surely still targeting them, and they go hide quickly in a garage and Enju tells him I will go finish her. So he tells her can you reach her, so she tells him yes if I go alone. So he tells her fine go but come back safe. And Senti gets out of the car and goes to Rentaro and tells him make Enju return quickly I made my calls and found out Tina is one of the powerful warriors and her rank is 97, and also she is one of the robot soldiers, and if Enju goes alone she will kill her. And he quickly calls Enju and tells her good you answered come back fast, but Tina is the one who answers him. Kazara and Rentaro go with Enju to the hospital to check on her, and he asks the doctor is she okay, so he replies she might be okay, but I gave her a large dose of anesthetic, she might stay asleep for 2 days. And Rentaro asks Kazara so is everything finished, so she tells him a third meeting will be held between Senti and President Saitake, and he asks her when, so she replies tomorrow at 8 o'clock. And Rentaro remembers the words from the investigation when the officer told him that Enju was hit from 4 different places at the same time, and that they found heavy machine guns in different spots, and the inspector said they requested to search Shiba's weapons company, and he understands that Tina could have killed Enju if she wanted and the police officer too, but she tries to avoid killing people as much as she can, but that won't change that she is rank 98 and that she nearly killed Kazara. And I also was hurt because of her, and Enju is in a coma because of her, and the truth is that Tina is a person hard to deal with, and maybe I should quit this job, but if I do that Senti will die. And the head of the guards comes to Rentaro and tells him the third meeting has been prepared, and Rentaro tells him I know, so he replies we have a new protection plan, and since you lost Enju you have no role in the new plan. So Rentaro comes close to him and grabs him and tells him you are setting a weak protection plan, So he replies, are you still insisting on continuing as the bodyguard? So he tells him yes, I will continue the job and protect Senti, and Rentaro pulls out his gun and points it at the head of the guard's face, and tells him I don't want to kill you, and more important than that, don't send wrong information, and I will take care of everything until my last breath. And Rentaro goes to Sensei, and she shows him a device and tells him this is a kinetic tool moved by the brain, and it is an aerial detection device controlled by a small chip implanted in the brain, and its function is not only to find the target, but also to transmit information about temperature and wind speed. And Rentaro asks her how many of these devices can you control at the same time. So she replies 3, what are you thinking about? So he tells her I'm going to go defeat Tina, and she tells him that's impossible, she is in the top 100 ranks, and all of them are monsters who sold their souls to demons. And she asks him, do you know why Vibranium is black? So he tells her no. So she replies, because hatred embodies itself in that color, and she tells him you didn't turn out useless like I thought, and when I knew that I understood that you saved my soul, and I am still in the world because of you. And he tells her I still insist on defeating Tina, so I must go, and I want to prove that the arm you gave me is to save people, and I will protect Senti and defeat Tina and raise my evaluation rank. And Rentaro leaves her and calls Shiba and asks her to put him in a simulation battle, and Rentaro goes to her and does that indeed, and the result is that his power level is very high, and Shiba is very impressed by him, and he asks her what is Tina's power level, so she tells him her level is about 1.5 times stronger than you. On the other side, Tina's boss calls her and asks her to check the third meeting's information, and she tells him isn't the matter a bit strange? There is only one area from which I can shoot, and he tells her that the police officer and his assistant you were asked to kill, I learned that they are still alive, and she is surprised and tells him but I finished them, and he tells her who is your boss, so she tells him you are Professor Rand, and he tells her then listen to me, I am sure of what I'm saying, but if you fail the next mission kill yourself. And a call comes to Rentaro from Tina and she tells him this place is deserted and I will likely kill Senti the moment she arrives, so he tells her I won't let you kill her, this princess is the one who protects the nation's future, and if you insist on killing her then you must kill me first. And she tells him you can't defeat me, so he replies I don't know, let's try, and he fires at Tina, but Rentaro moves very fast and dodges the shot, and he destroys one of the aerial detection units. And he gets a call from Shiba and she tells him the analysis results for the weapons came out, and he tells her the machine gun's weapons, so she tells him yes, these weapons are designed for remote control, and suddenly an aerial sensor appears above him, and Rentaro tries to dodge it and hide from the shots, and she asks him to look at the chart she sent him, and tells him I got this information from the satellite, and there are 5 military machine guns surrounding you in the area, and he tells her Tina is controlling them by herself, so she replies yes. And he tells her, then that's what happened to Enju, and she tells him Tina is not in the building you are in, the sensors detected that she is in the other building on the top floor, and Rentaro moves to go up to the top floor and faces more aerial detection devices but destroys them with his gun, and he finds Tina in the opposite building and jumps to attack her, but she shoots him and he dodges and climbs to where she is. And he finds she has escaped, and he gets a call from Shiba telling him be careful, she is very close to you, and she is in a place on the same floor as you, and suddenly Tina attacks him and knocks his gun down, and draws her sword to finish him, and at the same time Rentaro tries to destroy the aerial sensor, but Tina exploits that and fires on him, and he falls to the ground and asks her why do you kill people, so she replies to prove that I have a purpose in life, and she points her weapon at his face, and tells him prepare yourself to die, and suddenly the tear gas grenade explodes in Tina's face, and he strikes Tina with very powerful blows and smashes many floors in the building, and Tina tells him go on, kill me. My whole body is a chaos of technology and I can't live in a country other than my own. But Rentaro lowers his weapon, and tells her you saved Enju and I wanted to thank you for that, and he rescues her and tells her don't worry, I will talk to them and your situation won't be bad, and she replies I don't know how to do anything but fight, and now I lost everything, and this wasn't how it was supposed to go and I will leave you to bear the responsibility. But suddenly the head of the guards shoots Tina with his gun, and Rentaro asks him what are you doing here, and he tells him we delivered Senti safely to where she was going, and she is at the meeting now and I killed Tina for you. You should thank me, and he replies I will kill you, but the rest of the guards hold Rentaro, and the head of the guards tells him just as I expected, without Vibranium rounds I couldn't finish her, and he points his gun at Rentaro's face and tells him and what do you think, how many bullets will you endure before you die, and Rentaro tells him angrily stop what you're doing, I will kill you, but suddenly Senti arrives, and the head of the guards is startled when he sees her and asks her what are you doing here, and she tells him I heard you were acting on your own so I left the meeting early. And he tells her I can't believe all this is because of a civilian officer, and she tells Rentaro tell me honestly what do you want from me, and he tells her I want strength to protect who I want to protect, and she tells him and as the governor of Tokyo I announce the raise of your rank to 300, and your personal access key to secret information is now level 5, and thus you are now a second lieutenant, and Rentaro pulls his gun and shoots the head of the guards in his hands, and tells him leave and if you harm Tina again I will kill you on the charge of treason. And Rentaro says to himself a week passed since this incident and since Saitake left the meeting, and in the end I found no proof linking Saitake with Rand, and now Tina is under Sensei's care and being treated in the palace because they are investigating her, and I hope there will be some mercy when she is judged. And he arrives at Kazara's office, and finds Enja waiting for him there, and he sits and asks Kazara what do you want us to talk about, and he finds Tina serving him water, and he is shocked and asks her what are you doing here, and Kazara tells him I hired her to work with us, and Tina tells him I will work at Tendo Security Agency starting today. Rentaro appears with a number of cursed children, and tells them I will be your teacher today, and my name is Rentaro, and among my hobbies is observing insects, and I love to present martial arts, and he asks them does anyone have any questions? And all the children want to ask him, and Kazara tells him why are you scared? Aren't you the one who agreed to be their teacher? So he tells her yes, and he picks one girl to say her question. So one of them asks him are you really living with Enju and planning to get married? And Enju answers her yes indeed. So Rentaro gets angry and tells her of course not, and he tells them now it's your other teacher's turn and she introduces herself and tells them I'm Tendo Kazara. And a large number of children start directing many questions to her, and Rentaro begins telling them that the governor of Tokyo is named Sendi, and one of the children tells him I haven't seen her before, and at the same time Sendi is coming to Rentaro, and Enju answers the child and tells her Sendi looks like the one coming over there. Sendi informs Rentaro that the monolith was destroyed and tells him the Gastria appeared and destroyed it and it is in stage 4 and the stage 5 user is the one controlling them, and because it is injected with ferranium, within 6 days the monolith will lose its magnetic field and be destroyed. And she tells him we started building another monolith but it will take 9 days to build. And by the statistics we made the Gastria will enter the city 3 days after the monolith is destroyed. And all the citizens of Tokyo will die or turn into Gastria, and she tells him we are trying to control the information that goes out to the citizens, but there are more than 2,000 Gastria around the monolith. So he tells her how is the controller managing them all, and how did they manage to destroy the monolith when they are stage 4? Supposedly even if at stage 5 they couldn't destroy it. So she replies I'm still not sure about the matter. So he tells her then what do you want me to do? So she tells him I want you to provide all means of assistance, and Kazara tells him means of assistance. That means we form a team of civilian officers. So Rentaro is surprised and asks Sendi you want me to gather a team and we fight together? So she tells him yes exactly I want you to be the team leader and join the battle. And she tells him she will need 3 days to finish the new monolith after this one is destroyed, and we will eliminate all the Gastria that enter the city, and this battle will determine the fate of Tokyo. And Rentaro goes home and finds Tina and Enju waiting for him, and Enju says Tina will spend the night with us today, and he sits and eats pizza with them. And they ask him what do you think about it? So he tells them it's very tasty, and Tina tells him I know how to make all kinds of pizza, and bedtime comes, and Tina asks Rentaro are you awake? So he replies you can't sleep, and they get up and sit together, and he tells her do you know who the Tencho are? So she replies Enju showed me the whole first chapter, and she tells him I wouldn't have tried all this if I were still with Rand, and I wished I had an older brother like you. And she asks him isn't there anything you want to talk about? So he tells her the monolith was destroyed, but that won't change anything in what we will do. So he tells her yes and I will tell Enju too and she will also say we fight. And he tells her and you don't have a problem? So she replies Tina who was at rank 98 died while fighting you, and now I have a new life. You can ask me for anything I do. And he tells her I thought we would sit in a few calm days. And he tells her a year ago Kazara and I founded Tendo Company to take revenge, and at that time there was nothing in my life more than my hatred for the Gastria, and the first time I met Enju she was being insulted by humans. She tells him all this happened just a year ago, so he tells her but Enju and Kazara and I changed, and she tells him but being with the head of Tendo is a good thing. So he tells her yes the important thing is you must sleep. And the next day Kazara comes to Rentaro to take Tina. And at the same time the police announced that the leader of the Tokyo area began to move to eliminate the cursed children, but he was attacked and killed. And the suspect was a child from outside the borders, and the broadcasters say this will be a negative effect on public opinion toward the cursed children, and it's impossible to apply the new Gastria law from now. And Rentaro tells Tina the situation became very dangerous since this incident, and he asks her are you tired today? So she tells him no I'm starting to get used to daytime life. And she asks him where are we going? So he tells her we will hire people to work with us, but this time we will fight a whole army of Gastria, and if I don't gather a team we won't be able to train for this battle. So she tells him, then why did you take me with you? So he tells her, because I don't have enough free time to show you Tokyo. And he asks her, where do you want to go? And he takes her to a shop to buy new clothes, but it turns out very expensive. And he takes her to the amusement park and she wins a prize. And he tells her, sorry, this is all I can do for you. So she tells him, no, that's more than enough. And while they are walking, they find a girl with her eyes blindfolded, standing and holding in her hands a paper written on it, I am a cursed child from outside the borders. And he asks her, why are your eyes blindfolded? So she replies, because my mother didn't love them, so I shot them. And she feels Tina's face and tells her, you are also one of the cursed children. So she asks her, how did you know? And Rentaro gives her money and tells her it's better you don't come here for a while. So she asks him, why all this money? So he replies, the important thing is that you promise me not to come here, and they walk away. People in the streets march chanting, we won't forgive the Gastria, get rid of the cursed children. And Rentaro goes to another security agency to look for people to work with him, and a girl comes out of the house and he tells her, I haven't seen you since Hiriko's killing. So she tells him, yes, I knew that you were the one who finished him. Did you come here to brag about what you did? So he replies, no, I came to talk to your brother about work. And she tells him, we don't want to work with you. And Rentaro meets her brother Katagari, and Rentaro asks him, what do you want? Let me guess myself. The monolith was destroyed and now everything depends on you, and you must hire people to form a team, and you searched everywhere for people to work with you but they refused and you came to me. So he replies, yes indeed. So he tells him, an arrogant person like you is always hated by all officers in the area. And he asks him, when will the monolith be completely destroyed, and how many enemies are there? So Rentaro replies, it hasn't been announced on the news yet, but it will be destroyed 4 days from now and the number of enemies is 2,000. So Katagari is shocked and tells him 2,000. And Rentaro tells him, if you don't help me, the Tokyo area will be destroyed and you too will die. So he tells him, the controllers are famous beasts, and I mean these monsters will destroy more than 3 cities, it's already known. And what will the government give me in return for joining you? So he tells him, you will be promoted in rank and you will get other rewards. So he tells him, you want me to risk my life for that? So he tells him, you can negotiate your reward later. So he tells him, I'm not talking about money. So Rentaro tells him, then what do you think, fight for me? So he laughs at his words and tells him, for you. And Katagari tells him, I won't work with someone weaker than me. And they decide to face each other, Rentaro and Tina against Katagari and his sister Yuzuki. And Rentaro tells Tina, I'm sorry to drag you into something like this. So she tells him, don't worry, we will defeat them. And she deploys her aerial detection devices. So they are surprised and ask her, what's that? So she tells them, I'm Tina, owl model, and my rank is cancelled at the moment. And Rentaro introduces himself and tells them, my rank is 300, and they start attacking each other. And Rentaro directs very powerful blows at him and defeats him, and Tina defeats Yuzuki very easily, and Yuzuki tells her, you are very strong, I will be a hindrance in your way if I enter the team with you. So she tells her, no, you should be proud that you were able to do all this and I was at rank 98, and asks her to join them. Rentaro and Tina go to Sensei, and she tells them, good you came, now my food stock is finished and I was about to die. But the meat is like dried fruit and hard to eat, and she tells Rentaro, that means you will be detained here for a long time. And he tells her, no, I didn't kidnap Tina. And Tina tells her, no, he wouldn't do that. And Sensei tells her, Rentaro knows many girls other than you. And Tina tells her, I didn't know he was like that. So Rentaro gets annoyed and tells her, don't believe her. And Sensei tells Rentaro, by the way, Shoma was looking for you yesterday. And he tells her Shoma himself. So she tells him, yes, I told him you aren't here at the moment and he left after without telling me anything. And Tina asks him, who is that? So he tells her, he is the one who taught me martial arts. And he was so strong that I had no chance to defeat him. But one day he suddenly disappeared. And he tells her, I was really sad when he left, and I didn't understand why he left without saying anything. And Tina tells Sensei, I want to discuss something with you. Soon there will be people chasing me, and when that happens I might cause trouble for many people. So she tells her, is it better that I leave Tendo agency? So he gets upset at her and tells her, I and Kazara and Enju aren't like that. Don't worry about us. And he tells her, don't you not hate us? If not, then there is no problem. And he tells her, don't worry, I will become stronger. And Sensei tells him she seems like a good child, and asks him, what do you feel toward Enju and Tina? So he tells her, I think they are kind children, and the things they do without thinking make me scared for them. And she says being honest is good, but don't get too attached to them. And she tells him, cursed children are really like that, and this is something inevitable, and they are different from us. So he gets angry at her and tells her, Enju is human like us. And she tells him, but the people who believe that are very few. And if you want to change our world, you must be a politician. So he tells her, there are more than one way to change the world, and then we won't be afraid of the Gastria, and I must defeat all the Gastria. And she tells him, do you know what is the most beautiful thing in the universe? And she shows him data she was able to get through the level 5 access key given to her, and says this is data from 20 years ago. And he tells her all the records from the beginning to the end of the Gastria war are supposed to not exist. So she tells him, that is what I expected, there is a person who erased all the data. and a call comes to Rentaro from Kazara, and she tells him did you see the news, and tells him the whitening in the monolith was discovered and officially announced, and Sensei is holding a press conference, and she says until now the monolith will be destroyed within 4 days. And one of the reporters asks her, can you tell us what is the news about building the new monolith? And another one tells her, does that mean you knew it would be destroyed? And Katagari tells Rentaro there are objections around using a lottery to choose the candidates for the ground shelter, and Rentaro tells him, can't we move the citizens to another place? So he replies, I heard all the rich people spent their money on plane tickets, and it's a matter of time before there will be riots in the whole area. And Yuzuki tells Rentaro this is the tent we will sit in. So he tells her, I can't do anything as long as we aren't officially registered for the numbers, we won't get a good tent. So she tells him we only need 2 more, we will find them today and take the tent. And Tina tells him, can I join you? And Rentaro tells her, don't worry, but your current rank is cancelled. And Enju tells her, I will look for good people to help us. And Rentaro tells her the matter isn't as easy as you think. And they go to a place with many people and Enju points to someone wearing armor. So he tells her no, that won't work, it will weigh his movement, and I want him to be light so he can face the Gastria. So she tells him, I understand, that means it's better to choose lighter people. And they sit after and Enju tells him the matter turned out hard, so he tells her most of them are in another team. Enough for today, and Rentaro finds many people gathered, so Enju tells him let's see what these people are gathered around, and they go toward them. And Rentaro is shocked when he finds the man they are watching is Shoma, his martial arts teacher, and he is standing before a huge man coming to attack him, and they fire many shots at him, but Shoma and his assistant attack him and defeat him. And Rentaro goes to him and tells him your skills are still the same, and he tells him I haven't seen you for a long time, Rentaro, but I heard about your achievements recently, and he introduces him to Enju and tells him she is at rank 8 in Tendo martial arts, and he tells her this is my trainer in Tendo. And Shoma tells him, since I heard you defeated the scorpion, I started thinking of fighting beside you. And that is even though I don't deserve that. And he tells him, allow me to join your team. So Rentaro tells him it's an honor for me, and asks him, why are you a civilian officer? And why did you leave suddenly? So he tells him I wasn't ready for that, and he tells him, can I ask you about something else? And he tells him there were 2 killed at the train station, did you do that? So he tells him, what are you talking about? So he tells him, no, it's nothing. And Shoma tells them, I'm happy to be working with you. And his assistant introduces herself and tells them I'm Fosai and from the cat model and my special ability is smelling, and Enju asks her, do you use magic? So she tells her, yes, you are wearing a witch hat on your head, and Shoma tells her there is nothing to hide from them, they are your friends, and she removes the hat from her head and she has ears like a cat, and Katagari tells him now we became 6 so the team is complete, and Shoma tells him are you sure the team will be only 6? So he tells him no, I want to increase it to 10, and Enju tells him do you need all that number? So he tells her I am thinking of the largest number of people I can direct, and I want to search for people quickly to help us, and suddenly Kazara enters and tells him and I will join you I and Tina so you only need 2. So Rentaro tells her but Tina's rank is cancelled at the moment. So she tells him I asked Sandy personally and she agreed. And Kazara tells Tina I registered you and your rank now is 9,200. And she tells her I'm sure your ability is much higher than that. And Kazara is surprised when she sees Shoma and tells him where were you all this time, but Rentaro tells her come for a moment, and tells her you should think about your health. So she tells him I went today and did dialysis. Will you allow me to join your team? That's an order from your president. And Tina comes and tells him you don't want me to join your team, and a man comes and tells Rentaro Commander Jado ordered all civilian officers to gather, and the commander gathers them and tells them I am proud I will be fighting beside you, and Rentaro tells Kazara that his rank is 275, and the commander tells them the Tokyo area is in great danger, and the Gastria is a terrifying enemy, but if there is anyone who can stop it, it will be us. And your duty is to kill as many Gastria as possible, and the ones that killed our families and all the people we love, and this will be our victory. And he tells them currently the Gastria army is ready to attack the monolith, and once the battle starts we will send a support team. And Katagari says that means we won't do anything until they ask for help. And the commander asks them do you have any questions? So Rentaro raises his hand, and Jado asks him who are you? So he tells him I'm Rentaro and my rank is 300. And he tells him considering we are reserve support forces and the civilian officers' forces are very far. Why? So he tells him because we were ordered to set up a camp and be ready for anything, and Rentaro tells him why not make the camp in a closer area like the memorial area, and there we can hide better and prepare for battle. So he tells him then we won't be able to have direct summoning for help requests. And Kazara tells him good, the meeting ended without any problems. You try to make some problem with any commander, and he tells her are you really going to fight with us? So she tells him will you keep asking me a lot? So he tells her I'm afraid anything will happen to you. So she tells him I don't want to keep sitting doing nothing while you put yourself in danger. And she tells him if I will cause you trouble you can abandon me. So he tells her no, that certainly won't happen, I will protect you. and Rentaro gets up and tells his team, "Thank you for being with me and we want to fight together during these 3 days." And Enju tells him, "We are with you so we will surely win." Rentaro continues the lessons for the cursed children the next day, and he hands out papers for them to write their future dreams, and Kazara tells him, "With what we're doing now, that must mean the monolith won't be destroyed in 3 more days. And Matsuzaki, the caretaker of the cursed children, comes and tells him, "It seems you're working well." And he thanks him for teaching the children at a time like this. So he tells him, "It's fine, this is something that relaxes me." And Enju finishes and goes to show him her paper, and she has written that she wants to marry Rentaro, and then Tina goes to give him her paper in which she also wrote that she wants to marry Rentaro, and Rentaro tells the children, "Alright everyone, hand in the papers, that's it for today." But Enju gets upset with him and tells him, "So what I wrote on the paper, you won't do it." So he ignores her question and tells her, "Go sit in your place." And then he asks Kazara, "How much money do you have?" So she signals that she doesn't have much money, so he tells the cursed children, "Come on, because I will take you on a tour in the city." And he goes to book them bus tickets and they move to the Flame of Freedom Square, and there Rentaro tells them why they made this square, and he tells them in the past there was a big war in the Tokyo area and the Gastria, and the last battle was called the Second Kanto, and it happened in this square here. And that's why they made this square as a memorial to the victory. And one of the children interrupts him and asks him, "Is that like the Jinin festival?" So he tells her, "It seems you heard about it." So she tells him, "Yes, and I know it too. It's the festival where there are things that shine in the sky." So he tells her, "Yes, it's a festival that shows our respect for the people who lost their lives in the Gastria war. And by the way, the Jinin festival is near." And one of the children asks him, "Are we going to die? And will we see the Jinin festival like every year?" He comes close to her and tells her, "Don't you know why I brought you here? Because the square proves that humans won against the Gastria, and even if the monolith is destroyed, the special forces unit will protect us." And he tells them, "Don't worry, Kazara and I will fight them like officers." So they are surprised and tell him, "You also will go fight?" So he tells them, "Yes, of course, since I finished my work as your teacher, then surely I will protect you." And they return to their camp again. And at bedtime Kazara comes to Rentaro and asks him, "What do you think, shall we go for a little walk?" And they go to the monolith and she tells him the Varanium is getting eaten very quickly now, and she tells him the monolith is made of blocks we built at one site, and the target height is 100 meters, and as long as we can build that height then ordinary Gastria won't be able to enter. So he tells her that means even if we could build another monolith like this we won't be done with the Gastria, and that means the controllers will eat the Varanium again. And more importantly, why aren't the controllers going after the other monoliths? So he tells her, "I don't know, I feel the problem is with this monolith in particular." So she tells him, "I didn't think about this. I will go in and look inside the monolith myself." Kazara lies down to sleep on the ground next to Rentaro, and tells him, "The truth is I'm happy now. At the agency, Tina, you, Enju, we are a family." And she tells him that alone makes me happy. But when I felt all this would suddenly disappear, I got scared. And Rentaro tells her, "I will protect you, Enju and Tina, and I won't leave you." And the next day Rentaro goes to the city and finds the cursed girl he had warned not to come here, and he finds her fallen on the ground and people around her wanting to get rid of her, but he goes and tells them he is an officer and if they don't leave he will shoot them, and he tells her, "Can you stand?" So she tells him yes and gets up, and she tells him, "I'm sorry that I made you upset," and he tells her, "Go home quickly and don't come here again." And Rentaro returns to the camp and meets Tina and Enju as they are returning from school, and he tells her, "I'm sorry that I left you to teach alone today." And she tells him, "The moment they knew I alone would teach them today they all got upset. No one likes me." And Katagari comes and gives Kazara an envelope and tells her, "Someone left it here while you were outside." And Rentaro asks her what is written in the papers, so she tells him, "Like I told you about the monolith," and she goes to throw the papers in the fire and walks away. And the next day Rentaro and Enju move to go to the school, and Enju asks him, "Are you happy being a teacher?" So he tells her yes, of course. And they arrive at the school, but Rentaro is shocked when he finds the whole place destroyed by a bomb, and he enters to find all the children dead. And Enju goes to Rentaro and tells him, "So I'm not going to school today." So he tells her, "No, you won't go again." So she gets upset and tells him how I promised my friends I would bring them toys. I want to meet them. And Rentaro asks the officers to take her out, but she slips from them and enters to see her friends and finds them dead. And Kazara calls Rentaro on the phone and he asks her how is Tina, so she tells him she started to calm down a bit, and he tells her the bomb that killed them had a high percentage of Varanium to achieve the greatest damage, and he gets angry and tells her, "Who are we protecting? So who are Enju and I supposed to protect?" And she tells him, "We are civilian officers, we achieve justice." And he tells her, "Is there justice in a world like this?" And she tells him, "If you can save the Tokyo area, then there will be hope that people will lessen their hatred and way of thinking, and we are fighting for that weak hope." And suddenly the monolith is destroyed. And Rentaro tells Kazara why it's still 1 day left, so he tells her, "Surely because of the wind I didn't calculate it right," and he goes to Enju and tells her that the monolith was destroyed. Rintaro is at the camp when Gastria monsters attack, and Katagari says if they surround us here we will die, and Shouma tells him if we leave the camp and walk away we will be breaking orders, and he asks Rintaro what will you do, and Yuzuki tells him you decide and we will carry out your orders. You are our leader, and Rintaro tells them let's move. And they face the monsters and defeat them one after another and everyone helps each other. And after they finish them he tells them let's return quickly, and when they return they find the monsters destroying the whole camp. And Rintaro goes to their commander and tells him tell everyone to come back quickly, so he tells him did you see the spear of light? So he replies surprised the spear of light. So he tells him the weapon they have. We didn't have any chance from the beginning to win, and suddenly the Gastria attack the commander and swallow him, and the battle ends. And Katagari tells Rintaro many people died, so he tells him yes about more than half. So he replies but the Gastria also their strength decreased, so he tells him yes but still they will come back again. And Rintaro tells him the civilian officers and the special forces thousands of them turned into Gastria, so Katagari tells him that means 500 of us against 2,000 of them, and Rintaro goes to the hospital to check on the injured, and there he finds Enju wearing a nurse uniform, so he asks her where did you get these clothes, so she tells them they gave me these clothes here because I helped them, so he tells her so you are not disturbing them, so Kazara comes and tells him no on the contrary she helps us a lot. Suddenly Sensei enters to Rintaro, and he is surprised and asks her what are you doing here, so she tells him I was asked to supervise the hospital here, and he tells her you took a place in the shelter, so she tells him yes they gave me a place, they said surely they won't let the greatest brain in Japan die, and he tells her I think you are the most suitable person for this place, and she tells him I heard that Enju lost her friends, and that is very hard, so he asks her from your view, what do you think of what Enju is doing, so she tells him don't worry she is fine, and Enju's mind is much stronger than I expected, and she tells him I will try to avoid anything that reminds her of the incident of her friends, and Sensei tells them you must return and rest now, and they go to the place Shouma told them about and enter, and Tina meets them and tells him I cleaned this place so we can live here, so he tells her but we can only stay here a few days, so she tells him but surely you will be happy if the place is clean, and Shouma tells Rintaro unbelievable we light a fire in the day, so he replies because of the ash in the air it blocked the sun, and they said the weather will be cold for 3 days, and Katagari has prepared the food for dinner and they go to eat, and Yuzuki tells them he makes very good food, and tells them he is always the one cooking at their house. And Tina asks Rintaro why did the Deburan monsters run away, he tells her there are many rumors about this but no one knows the real reason, and Kazara tells Rintaro I noticed that some patients whose arms and legs were cut off because of the spear of light, all of them suffer deafness and blindness, and these are symptoms of mercury poisoning, and Tina tells him I want to tell you something about this. And she tells him during the battle using the Shinfield aerial detection device I detected Gastria from 5 kilometers away releasing mercury, so he asks her what did it look like. She tells him sorry but the Shinfield has no ability to send images, but it was large in size, it could be stage 4. A man comes and says to Rintaro Commander Gato wants to meet you, and he goes to meet the commander and finds his leg was cut off during the battle. And he asks him about his son and tells him what was he like in his last moments, so he tells him he was fighting bravely, and he tells him I am the one who made him a civilian officer, and if I knew this would happen to him I wouldn't have made him an officer. So Rintaro tells him don't you see that the enemy is being controlled by someone, he tells him after the special forces won the battle, the Gastria retreated quickly, and he tells him after the Deburan got injured, the Gastria formed a protective wall, and he tells him you mean it releases pheromones? And he tells him the thing that made the Gastria gather around the Deburan is aggregation pheromones, and Rintaro tells him if we defeat the Deburan we can win against them. So he tells him that's a good suggestion from you, but I will tell you some information you didn't know. It's impossible to defeat the Deburan because it doesn't die, and he tells him my sword made of veranium I opened its head and pierced it completely, and I'm sure I caused damage to its brain and heart, but nothing happened, and after a moment it started regenerating slowly. And he tells him this is not in our favor, and with the Gastria having the Spear of Light and the Deburan both pose great danger to us. And he tells him we can't win just by defeating the Deburan, and even if we try to defeat the king there will be the queen to continue after him, and to win the battle we must defeat the queen too, and because of this we must take a decision today, and he tells him you during the battle you and your team left and escaped, so he tells him no we did that to destroy the enemy squad. So he tells him and that doesn't change that you disobeyed orders. He tells him your actions equal the actions of those who ran from the enemy, and because of this there was big disorder in the ranks of our officers, and you must be punished for this, and he tells him I announce the disbanding of your team. So Rintaro gets angry at him, but Gato's assistant hits him and knocks him to the ground, and Gato tells him are you ready to die again? And he tells him if we can defeat Pleiades that releases the Spear of Light we will win, and I want you to sneak into the enemy's land and destroy Pleiades, and Gato tells him you can't refuse and in return I will exempt your team from punishment. And Rentaro returns to his place again to take his stuff and leave, but Kazara stops him and tells him where are you going, so he tells her I'm going to the bathroom normally. So she tells him and taking all these things with you, so she tells him you will go alone to fight them to die. So he tells her I must take responsibility, so she tells him let's run away. So he tells her is there a place to run in Tokyo, and if we don't stop the Gastria here we will die anyway and he leaves her and goes. And while Rentaro is walking on the road suddenly Gastria monsters appear attacking him and chasing him until he falls into the water. But suddenly Hirako appears and kills them all. And Rentaro is surprised that he is still alive and not dead. They sit in a place to treat but Rentaro is holding his gun and pointing it at him. And Hirako asks him to lower the gun but Rentaro refuses. So he tells him you forgot that I healed you. So he tells him and you didn't forget what you did? And what are you doing here anyway? And his daughter asks Rentaro where is Enju? Dead? So he tells her no alive but we are moving separately now. So she tells him good I want to see her so I can kill her. And Hirako asks him can I know what are you doing here? So he tells him I am here to defeat Pleiades, the Gastria that releases Mercury. So he tells him yes I saw something like that indeed when I was watching the battle yesterday. So he gets angry at him and tells him watching. And why didn't you join us? So he tells him and what do you expect from me? I don't want there to be peace. And Rentaro asks him why do you wear a mask? So he tells him you want to see my face. So he tells him no. So he tells him good. You would regret it if you saw it. And he tells him we possess power beyond human capabilities, and he tells him I have enough power to kill you all, but I didn't do that, why do you hate me? And he asks Rentaro to stay with him, but he refuses. And Rentaro gets up the next day and Hirako tells him I forgot to tell you something yesterday, and that is we met Pleiades yesterday. So he tells him where. So he replies walk to the end of the river and Hirako moves with him and tells him we are almost going to the same place. Rentaro and Hirako arrive at an enemy base, and Hirako points at Pleiades and tells him is that it? So he tells him yes almost it, and Hirako tells him after its limbs were destroyed it cannot move now and we can attack it now. And Rentaro tells him I wanted to blow it up with plastic explosives but my bag fell in the river. And Hirako tells him then there is only one way I will fight it myself. And Rentaro tells him your strength alone is not enough. So he tells him what if we fight it together? So Rentaro agrees, and they move and attack it and kill it, and the rest of the monsters move toward them. And Rentaro stops because his wound is bleeding but Koina saves him and they hide from the monsters. And Hirako tells him it seems the Deburan and the rest of the monsters started moving, and Rentaro runs quickly and stops to call Saitenshi on the phone and tells her I defeated Pleiades. And now you can use the missiles and fighter planes. So she tells him we will start firing now, and they shoot at all the monsters there, and they shoot at the Deburan and cut its head, but its head regenerates again after that. Rentaro returns to the camp and finds Enju running to him and telling him why did you leave without saying, so he tells her I'm sorry, and Kazara tells him you were gone for long, and Kazara tells him Commander Gato died in the battle, and according to the law of civilian officers, the officer with the second highest rank will take command, and I wish you to be our leader. And Enju sees Hirako and asks him what does that mean, so he tells her he saved me. So she tells him saved you, and one of the people tells him I saw him kill one of our comrades in the camp. So Hirako tells him that's because they decided to fight us. So I gave them the death they deserved, and Koina tells Enju I missed you, and tells her now I will kill you, and Rentaro gets angry and tells them, this is not the time, and now our common enemy is the Gastria, and if you have time to fight each other, and he tells them it's better you think of a way to defeat as many Gastria as possible, and Hirako leaves him and walks away, and Shouma asks him are you okay, so he tells him yes fine. Where is Midori? And they return to where they stay and she is lying sick on the bed, and Shouma tells him she was trying to save someone she doesn't know, and the Gastria attacked her and she got poisoned by the virus to save that girl. Kazara tells him her body erosion rate is very high, and Hirako tells him kill this girl, she fought me once and defeated me, and Midori wakes up and tells Rentaro because of my ears no one wanted me not even my mother, but later Shouma needed me and you too. So he tells her what will make me and Shouma happy is that you get well soon. So she tells him I smell the scent of tension in you. So he tells her does tension have a smell? So she tells him yes this is a special ability I have, and she tells him I also smelled a strong scent of doom coming from Kazara, but as long as you are the leader I think she will be fine, and suddenly she gets up and tells him I am healed, and he asks her where are you going? So she tells him I am going to the bathroom, and she tells him by the way I might be late a bit. But suddenly Rentaro goes out and finds Midori killed herself, and Shouma tells them she didn't want to be a burden on the team, and he tells Rentaro we will say she ran away and that's all, and Shouma tells him after that me and Midori were very similar and we didn't deal with humans much, and he tells him I will not stop using Tendo martial arts, and he tells him destroying the enemy from inside was not allowed in Tendo arts, and because of that I became a civilian officer and I had to be there and kill the Gastria that hurt her. And Rentaro tells him I am sorry. Shouma gets angry at him and tells him if you want to really express your sadness for her, then you must defeat the Deburan beast, and he tells him get up, if you don't finish it the number of victims will increase, and you must save Tokyo area. And Rentaro gets up and tells the civilian officers that he will be their leader, and one of them objects and says enough, let's escape. But Rentaro draws his sword and kills him, and tells them any one of you has any question, and one of those standing orders his assistant to kill him, but suddenly Hirako makes a barrier and saves him from the shot, and Rentaro tells him why did you do that? So he tells him because I don't want you to die that way, and Rentaro tells them any person who tries to escape or threaten the team, I will not forgive him, and Kazara after that tells him you went too far in this matter. So he tells her everyone is afraid of the Gastria and will be afraid to fight it, and it's better they fear me instead of the Gastria, and she tells him but then everyone will hate you, and no one will stand with you. So he tells her I don't need anyone with me now. So she tells him if the whole world turns against you I will stay with you, and Gato's assistant comes and tells him your actions are not acceptable. So he tells her didn't we lose twice because of his wrong methods? So she gets angry at him and tells him how dare you mock him, and she pulls her sword to attack him, and Shouma holds the sword and tells her is mocking Gato angering you like that? So she tells him and who are you and what is your name? So he tells her I am Shouma and I also lost my partner. What about you be on a team together? So she tells him no I will not work under two. So he tells her don't you see if we become a team even temporarily we will defeat the Gastria faster. So she tells him you mean you want us to be one team until we defeat the Deburan beast. So she agrees and tells him I will be your partner for this period. Rentaro and his team meet with Shiba and her company, and Kazara says we had to cooperate with her. So he tells her I appointed her as a planner and we need weapons especially as we want to defeat the Deburan, and Shiba tells Kazara you don't notice that Tokyo area is not in good condition now and no one has the resources now to support you. And she tells them that the power of the Deburan started to move. So he asks her you expect them to arrive when? So she tells them at night, meaning we have less than half a day. So Rentaro tells her is there a way we defeat them with? So she tells him I made a special bomb in our private engineering section, and its short name is EP bomb and it's 20 times stronger than the normal bomb that the special forces used, and if we use this bomb we can kill the Deburan. And she tells him and one more thing you cannot just throw the bomb at the Deburan. The bomb must explode inside its body to have greater effect. So he tells her so you want us to make a hole in its body then throw the bomb? So she tells him yes exactly, and he tells her how will we make a hole in its body and we have no weapon with that power. So she tells him but we have one thing only. It has power more than a tank, our strongest and final weapon. So he tells her where? Me? So she tells him yes the plan will be called double-edged weapon, and we will abandon this place, and we will make a camp near the Deburan and we will face it there. So he tells her a camp? There is no place to make a camp. So she tells him the final battle will be at the Revolution Square. And he asks her can you find the Deburan with these lights? So she tells him yes this plan depends on how fast we locate the enemy, and Kazara tells her right we asked the special forces for help and we must move them by land. Night comes and Rentaro tells them they delayed take your positions, and Rentaro asks Enju what's wrong? Take your position. So she tells him you remember last time we came here? I don't understand why this generation does horrible things to the cursed children, we just want a safe place to live. And she tells him the civilian officers say the best way is that we and the Gastria kill each other so they get rid of us. So he tells her you believe that? So he tells her I know the work you do, you risk your life for others. What will you choose? And he tells her you don't have to decide now. So she tells him I'm fine. I agree. And Katagari tells him everything is ready and in position, and Hirako tells him your team seems complete, and at the same time the chief of guards is throwing the batteries that will reveal the Deburan monster to kill Rentaro. On the other side Shiba tells Rentaro the Gastria might arrive in 10 more minutes, so he tells her why haven't they sent the batteries until now, and Tina tells him I don't see any Gastria in my field of view, and Shiba tells him also there is no contact from the special forces, and Shouma tells her if we don't fight in a while then they won't come at all, and Tina tells them the Gastria army started entering from the forest and is coming directly here, and Katagari says either the enemy comes and kills us or we kill it, and Rentaro orders all units to get ready. And Enja tells him look at the sky, so he tells her what are these lights? The Jinan festival, and Saitenshi calls him and tells him that's me, so he tells her you are the one who did this, and she tells him each one of these candles is filled with the citizens' hopes and their trust in you. The fate of the Tokyo area is in your hands, and he tells Enja we must defeat the Gastria and save the people, and Rentaro says the operation will start now. All the officers point their weapons at the Gastria and fire at them, and Rentaro tells them we will move to the second phase, and orders all units to advance, and Tina tells him I will help in the attack, and Rentaro and the rest of the team move, and Kazara takes down a huge monster in front of them, and Katagari and Shouma kill the rest of the monsters that were going to attack Rentaro. And Hirako helps them with his super strength and eliminates a large number of them, and he tells Rentaro, "Will you waste your time here?" And Shouma tells him come on move, and Rentaro and Enju attack the Deburan, and Rentaro manages to make a big gap in the Deburan's body and puts the EP bomb inside its body and informs them that he succeeded in placing the bomb and it will explode within minutes, and he orders all units to retreat, but suddenly they discover that activating the bomb failed, and Enju apologizes to him that she didn't activate it. So Rentaro bids her farewell and moves toward the Deburan, and Shouma says if you hit the monster with a strong strike the bomb might activate, and Rentaro moves with all his strength, and as soon as he jumps to attack the Deburan monster it eats his leg because it is made of vibranium, but Shouma helps him and tells him I can deliver a blow that finishes it from the inside, and Rentaro tells him no, don't do that, but Shouma doesn't listen to him and tells him try to live for me, and Shouma moves toward the Deburan and delivers a very strong strike, and the bomb explodes and the Deburan monster dies. And Rentaro wakes up to find in front of him very large craters at the place of the explosion, and he asks Enju what happened to the remaining Gastria, so she tells him after the Deburan exploded their movement became strange, and they started to scatter and defeating them became easy, and most of them ran outside the monolith, and Rentaro looks at the rest of the officers and says, "Are these the only ones who remained?" And 2 days after the victory they started building the monolith again. Kazumitsu the vice minister comes to meet Rentaro and Kazara, and he tells her did you bring what I told you about, so she gives him a book. So he gets angry and tells her I thought I got rid of this, and she tells him why did you think the Deburan would hardly stick to the monolith, and she tells him I can't believe that before the war when building the monolith you were the one sending materials mixed with other substances with the vibranium to reduce the cost, and keep the money for yourself, and he tells her angrily that plan was supposed to succeed, so she tells him but it didn't succeed with the Deburan, and in the end the person who caused the battle is you, and you should have died in this war, so he tells her I didn't die, that means I can spend the money as I want. And he stands before Kazara to enter a fight with her, and Rentaro asks them is what you are doing necessary, and Kazara tells him I waited 10 years to be able to catch one of those responsible for my father and mother's death, and Kazara attacks him with force and cuts his legs very quickly, and she tells him speak about the attack that happened 10 years ago, surely it wasn't sudden, so he tells her there were 5 involved me and 3 of my brothers and Tendo, and she tells him why did you do that, so he tells her to protect my family. I did many crimes, and Kazara leaves him and tells Enju and Rentaro let's go, and Kazara tells Rentaro I finally killed someone responsible for killing my father and mother, so he tells her why did you kill him, so she tells him you couldn't kill him but I could, and Rentaro tells Tina and Enju it seems I will face Kazara as an enemy to me, and Saitenshi comes out and tells the people now finally we are in peace after we won the battle.